Next up, we're going to be talking about Vylons. Vylons, what comes from Vylons? Vylons, we have Vylon Epsilon and Vylon Sigma. Sigma balls, right, there you go. And basically this card can be used in any deck as long as you have a light tuner. It's 2800, so instead of summoning Stardust, just for 2000 attack, you could use this monster instead. Now, if you want to use its effect, equip cards equipped to this card cannot be targeted by cards or effects, so you can't Cosmic Cyclone, you can't Dragon Spirit of White it. Once per turn, you could send one equip card equipped to this card to the graveyard to target a monster on the field, destroy it, okay? And then this one requires a light tuner and one or more non-tuner light monsters. This is a level 7, this is a level 8. On attack, you could equip an equip card from your deck onto this card. So if you play like Axe of Despair on attack, you could equip it. It goes up to 2800. Very cool. Now, of course, you can use all of the very wonderful Vylon cards. Where are they? Vylon, Filament, all that stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I do want to keep this review nice and compact for you. Pretty much to sum Vylons up, there is no easy way to summon Vylon Epsilon, and there's no easy way to summon Vylon Sigma. The tuner they did give us was Vylon Cube and Vylon Stella. And pretty much their effects, for example, Vylon Cube is if you're able to perform a synchro summon, you could search for an equip spell. So I'm completely writing off this deck. It is horrible. There's no real great synergy since you have no real easy way to summon Vylon Epsilons. Hopefully someone creative could think of a great idea with this, but otherwise, I don't know. I don't think so. You could use Powerful Rebirth to help synchro Shokan. Otherwise, no bueno. Moving on, Scraps. Scraps I hold very dear to my heart. I topped many regionals with it. I love Scraps. The super rare Scraps we have are Scrap Chimera and Scrap Storm. The rest are normal or rare. Now, Scrap Chimera, you could summon a Scrap Tuner from the graveyard, and there you go. That's something that would help Synchro Shokan. Now, what are the Scrap Tuners in this deck? The Scrap Tuners in this deck are Scrap Orthros and Scrap Worm. Scrap Worm, level 2. And if it's destroyed by a scrap effect, you could add a scrap monster from your graveyard to your hand. There are a lot of ways to destroy your scraps with scrap effects, so just think about that. And then we have Scrap Orthros. This is a really confusing card, but a real quick way to explain this is if you dump this in the grave without summoning it its own way, you cannot summon it with Scrap Chimera. You must properly summon it first. And the way to properly summon it is you must have a scrap on the field. You special summon him from the hand. Then on special summon, he could destroy himself or another scrap monster. And if he's destroyed by a scrap effect, which his own effect is a scrap effect, so if he destroys himself, you could add a scrap monster from your graveyard to your hand. So after successfully doing that, then you could Scrap Chimera him onto the field. So we got Chimera, summon a tuner, summon a tuner. What do we do with the tuners? Because Scrap Chimera says this cannot be used as a synchro material except for a scrap monster. We're going to use it with Atomic Scrap Dragon. Now, there's a big problem with this. It's level 10, requires a scrap tuner, and then it requires 2 or more non-tuner monsters. 2 or more non-tuner. That means you can't use a scrap tuner plus another. Now, how would you even be able to use that? We could have done this, and unfortunately we can't do it. We could have used level augmentation. Let me show you that real quick. Level aug. Reveal monster, select a monster, increase its level by the monster revealed. So we literally could have summoned Scrap Chimera into Orthros and then reveal a Scrap Worm to increase the Orthros to level 6, and then 6 plus 4 equals level 10, but you can't even do that. Unfortunately, there is no real good way to summon Scraps, so this is why Scraps overall are really bad. We're still going to talk about the rest of the cards, but this synchro can't be used, and this card helps you synchro just for it, which you really can't even do, even though this helps you synchro. Okay? When you finally summon this, you could target 1 card on your side of the field, then you could target 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard, destroy the card that you control, and then you get to return 3 cards in their graveyard into their deck. So I guess if they have Blue Eyes or Vampires, you get to return that back to their deck. When this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you could special summon a non-synchro scrap from your graveyard onto the field. So you could resummon your your Scrap Orthros, or you could summon your Scrap Chimera. But the best card to summon, if you were to summon this, would be Scrap Golem. This is a level 5. It is a tribute summon. Once per turn, you could target one level 4 or lower scrap in your graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's side or your side of the field. Now, Scrap Golem, when I played Scraps, was the best target to summon with the Scrap Synchros, okay? The Scrap Synchros being Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon, you instantly make this with Scrap Chimera, summoning an Orthros or another Scrap Tuner. That's a Scrap Beast, which is a level 4 tuner also. But we don't have this, so it's not even worth talking about it. We have this crappy one, unfortunately. We also don't have another Scrap Synchro. Hopefully it comes up here. We also don't have Scrap Twin Dragon. Scrap Twin Dragon is a level 9 Synchro, and you would be able to easily summon it with just Orthros and a Scrap Golem. But instead, they gave us the level 10 one, completely cucked us. But let's look at the other Scrap card. We have Scrap Storm. Quick Play Spell. This is one of my favorite cards in the TCG. Quick Play, target a Scrap monster you control, send one Scrap from your deck to the graveyard, then draw one card, then destroy that monster. Let's quickly show you a combo. We have Scrap Chimera on the field. We have Orthros in our hand. We have Scrap Storm in our hand. Okay, we special summon Orthros. We have Orthros target himself to destroy himself. We chain Scrap Storm onto Orthros. We send another Scrap Chimera from the deck to the graveyard. Then you draw a card from your deck. Then you destroy Scrap Orthros with Scrap Storm. Then Orthros effect activates in the grave to add a Chimera that you sent from the deck to the grave to your hand. Then next turn, you now have a follow-up play where you could summon Scrap Chimera to summon that Orthros. So if anything ever bad happens to your monster or is about to happen, you can use Scrap Storm to dump, draw, destroy, and then add from your grave. Okay? But unfortunately, we can't do much with Scrap Chimera anyway. And that's pretty much with the scraps. We got a crappy scrap like this one. You special summon, then it has to destroy a scrap. No bueno. No thank you. No easy way to summon Scrap Golem. All the goddamn scrap cards suck. Scrap Rage sucks. Scrap Sheen sucks. Scrap are crap. All of it. Okay? I'm not going to go through every single one. This is another card that I did use. When effect monster's effect activates or a spell/trap activates, you destroy this card. But when it's destroyed, you can send a scrap from your deck to the grave. Otherwise, it's a 2100 level 4 normal summon. That's quite beefy, but not that special in a meta where you could just play Vampire Kingdom and then have a Gazuki or Samurai Skull, which is 2200. No thank you. All right, moving on. Wind-ups. We're going to be talking about wind-ups now. We have, because the wind-ups are all over the place, we have Overwind. This is going to be the core card of Wind-ups. Now, Wind-ups it's an Exceed deck in the TCG, but what we have right now, it's a nothing deck. It's just a funny deck over this card. Literally, that's it. You target a Wind-up you control, its attack and defense are doubled. And then it returns to the hand during the end phase. You can only activate one per turn. So what you're going to use this with is you're going to use this with Wind-up Soldier. Wind-up Soldier. I think I'll just type Wind-up here and it'll show us everything. Wind-up Soldier. Once while this is face up, you could gain its attack up to 2200. And then with Overwind, you go up to 4400 attack. That's nuts. Otherwise, you're going to use you could use Wind-up Knight to go up to 36. Really good wind-up card that's in another box that's a super rare is after damage calculation. If this battles an opponent's monster, even if it's destroyed, destroy the monster it went to battle with. 1700. This works really well with Powerful Rebirth. So I think the deck would be Powerful Rebirth, a bunch of wind-ups, and then hopefully you OTK your opponent with something with the Overwind. Have fun with that. You could potentially use this. Probably not good. You could attack, return it to your hand, and then summon another wind-up, and then use the Overwind, or you could use it on the monster you used Overwind on, okay? To finish off your opponent. Look at all these wind-up exceeds that we don't have yet. Yeah, we're in the white era. Next year will be the black era. The black cards will be back next year. Okay. Moving on. Techs. We're going to talk about techs. Tech cards. This is a big tech card. It's an ultra rare. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you take damage equal to the attacking monster's attack. If you do, banish that monster during the end phase of your opponent's next turn. Special summon that monster to your side of the field. It steals a monster. That's nuts. That's crazy. But at 4K life and Duel Links, it's a little scary. Now, this card can likely combo with cards like Destiny draw, where you need life point damage to be taken. If you take 2,000 in your draw phase, you could search your deck for any card you want. So maybe that's a cool way to trigger your life point skills in addition to Mirror Wall. So now you could play 3 memory and 3 Mirror Wall to play any life point skill deck, okay? In addition to Cosmic Cyclone too. These have been the best ways to trigger your life point skill effects. Moving on, we have a generic level 9 Natura Leo Drake, 1 Earth Tuner plus 1 or more non-Earth Tuner monsters, and there you go, 3,000, and they have to be Earth though. Earth and Earth. If you have room for it and you're playing Earth Tuner and 1 or more non-Earths in your deck, you're gonna want to play this, 3,000 attack, and that's the big combo that Scraps can do, pretty much. You go Scrap into Orthros, and then you, boom, you got this funny looking thing. All right, good job with that.